Okay, I've got 6:30 on my iPhone, so welcome everybody to the class preparations for the West Direction 12 Steps in the Red Road. This is my time of kind of going within more than out. So I'm gonna light a little sage here for me. Hey, don't need a whole lot of sage, but wash away all the fear, all the negative energy with the sage, the sweet grass, calls in the positive. So we'll be able to keep that going, keep this space pure. The sweet grass is the in breath, is I release, I let go. I call in with the sweet grass, it's the sweet air of our sacred Mother Earth. It smells so wonderful. Sell a lot of it in the store to the native people. Sweet grass, I've got about thousands of braids. Provide the medicine for the people. So I've been doing that since, my golly, back in the 80s. I've had Cedar Mountain drums since 1988, and I've been doing these classes in so many forms. Used to be I would just do the teachings of the West, teachings of the North. I didn't bring the 12 steps in, but I have to admit that the 12 steps is what got me sober, got me free from alcohol. And then I realized that addictions, I'm an addict, and I'm breaking a lot of those negative habits. There's when I teach this class, it's about the winter, fall, summer, spring. And in the cycle of the breath, it would be I take in, I let go. I take in love, I let go of fear. I take in love, I let go of fear. So native people have taught me that when you relax, spirit comes in. And when we're trying, we're lying. So I remind people of things that maybe will help them, but you have to hear them more than once normally for them to just really sink in. The first step is the only one we can do perfectly. That's what most people get blocked on, steps 1, 2, and 3 of the 12 steps. And golly, in so many wonderful Trail of Tears songs, they had that beautiful song, Amazing Grace. I once was lost, and now I'm found. I was blind, and now I see. So to see through illusion and to invest my time, talent, and treasure in what has heart and meaning for me. So I think that I'm a well-read man. I've read a lot of books, and I was traumatized in a break-in in my home, and I hadn't read quite but I'm getting back to reading. But I write just as much as I read. I keep journals. I've been keeping them ever since I got sober 50 years ago. These little journals. I've got hundreds of these journals. They're the source for many blogs that I've done, many articles I've written, and a book that's not yet published called Shifting into a Real and Authentic World, which is this red road and 12 steps is a walk around the wheel. Like, I'm a drum maker, so when I make a drum, I always start with my personal mesa. Like, what do I want to bring into my world? Like, I've got enough. When you're grateful, gratitude is attitude. And if you develop an attitude of gratitude, and be impeccable in your word, which is one of the 4 agreements of Mr. Ruiz. Always do your best, make no assumptions, don't take the actions of others personally, and be impeccable in your word. Just rather than telling people what I don't want them to do, don't do that, but we have so much negative in our language. We think about, you ask people how they're doing, not bad. That's how you're not doing. So they say children don't hear the not, because they're all love. Children play wholeheartedly. Like, I was hoping my friend Ashley would be here tonight. I don't see her yet. Well, I hope I've done this right. Anyway, it's being recorded, and Bob said he's going to be late, but he'll be here some point. But one of my adages is expectations are planned resentments. So minimize my expectations and play with the hand that life deals me. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I have tough days, and we all do. I was just listening to some music before this happened, and Rim has that song out called Everybody Hurts. Sometimes you just don't think you want to go on in this life. I as an elder, have been through a few winters and break-ins and broken bones, and jails, mental institutions. I've been down on the road down and out. And when you hit bottom, they say alcoholism or addiction is just a one-way elevator and it's down. So you can get off anywhere you want to. The more you practice your addiction, the more that elevator goes down until you hit something solid like bedrock. So I'm a Scorpio. I'm a water sign who forgets to drink water. While most elders my age, I'm 85 in November. I was noticing that about a week and a half ago I was peeing blood. I said, oh my God, it's really concerning me. And then I realized I'm not drinking water. I bet if I drink water, it'll clear right up. And sure enough, I have to discipline myself every day. Like, there's this great book I read back in the 60s, 70s. It says, chop wood, carry water. It is, what do you do? What's a drum maker do? They soak hides and make drums. What comes before enlightenment? Soaking hides and making drums. What comes after enlightenment? Soaking hides and making drums. So I got an elk out there in the drink, and I'm realizing how much scrap that I leave because I seem to be driven by other people's business. And I don't take care of the whole. I just have pieces of things. And when I used to do my play shops, I would say, what's it like to play with a whole heart? What's that feel like to play with all out, like giving everything? See, how relationships work is I give 100%, or that's my intention. So this walk around the wheel, making a drum, or walking around life is a lifelong study for sure. My gosh, every time I read that book, I read something else. They say you never step in the same river twice. And, you never read the same book twice because you're changing and what you're seeing is changing. So I've been a writer, and I used to be terrified to speak in front of a group. And so I have to be careful about my projecting my dark side on other people. So I was a therapist. Part of the 12 steps is admitted I'm powerless over people, places, and things. And that my life is unmanageable. So I wake up every morning in the bondage of self, which is, let me see if anybody else came on. I don't see anybody. I hope this thing's still recording. I guess it is. You wake up in the bondage of self every morning, so you have to hook up. I have to hook up. You don't. I'm the first and last of my nation. I feel good when I feel productive. When I start something and stay with it and complete it. And that's what drum making does. It has a beginning and an ending. So as it was in the beginning, it now and ever shall be. We don't die, we just wake up. So when your fear of death dwindles down, you start loving yourself, and when you start loving yourself, you start radiating essence. Your light starts to shine. And you're not looking for how many subscribers you have or anything else. But the West is water. It's this little deal right here. See, I'm looking at myself in the mirror when I look at this screen because I don't see anybody else but me. But how the women used to have other women walk with the mirror and get to make friends with that person in the mirror through the looking glass. I hate in you the qualities I hate in myself. And if I accept that in me that I project onto you, the fear dwindles. So we take a fearless and searching inventory of ourselves. That's part of recovery. We do an inventory. And used to be you count your blessings, you count your curses. You have a light bundle and a dark bundle, and you're working with the shadow dance, the beast and the beauty, loving dogs and cats, both and, that's the name of my book, shifting into a real and authentic world, from either or to both and. So in my journals I have a lefting practice. So the left's natural flow is to the left. The right is to the right. But I think 80-90% of people are right-handed. We're taught to be right-handed. So that's left brain, right brain, left brain. Right brain is time is art, left brain is time is money. So it's the rule of gold versus the golden rule. So we're not entitled to a damn thing. I hear a lot of people say, well, I'm entitled to minimum wage. I need a job that pays well. Well, in my estimation, jobs are out the window because technology is replacing people, and we have to make some major changes in our attitude from one of entitlement to one of gratitude for doing the best you can and not being afraid of succeeding, or not being afraid of money and whatever value is. I'd say value and the little pieces of paper. If we all agree that that has value, I guess that has value. So. But in the native way, the most generous was the richest, not the one that had the most. But back where I was raised, they said, if you're so damn smart, why ain't you rich? If you got money, you must be smart. So we had different values there about usually the wealthy, the philanthropists that I knew, those people say the only reason for having money is to see where it's going to make a difference in the world. And so you can raise, I raised money for a living for many years. I came out here to live with my uncle and my two cousins, and from West Virginia. And his dad sent Butch, my cousin, to my dad's house to live. And they were best friends, my dad and his brother. We were both Sagittarius, fire signs. My dad liked to fly airplanes, ride horses, and so did Don Pinson. He had a horse. They both had horses in Gray Eagle, West Virginia, and Kermit, where they were raised back in the hills of West Virginia and southern West Virginia, in Mingo County. And our relatives were Deskins. My dad's father's father, I think, was a Deskins, and that was a doeskin. That was a native name, doeskin, or deer skin is another way of interpreting it. Back there, they were clan mothers. A lot of Scottish Irish people came to work in the coal mines because that's what they did in England. It's where the Industrial Revolution and Titanic was built. The shipyards of Northern Ireland. And you get into Scotland and Wales and England and Ireland. So I've spent a little time over there with our sister community in the Isle of Shippey, teaching them how to make drums. They've taken that knowledge and taught many other people to make drums. So I think the master creates other masters. They don't create how many followers you got. Who cares? I guess when you're young and looking for love in all the wrong places, rather than inside, you're looking outside. That's Gene Houston's great book, In Search for the Beloved. We chase, but all you have to do is wait and love will come. If you take care of yourself, everything else is taken care of. So today I fixed myself a good breakfast. A little fruit, a little yogurt. I don't plan menus the night before. I read a great book once by Hugh Prather. It's called wrote several books, but one is I Touch the Earth and the Earth Touches Me. And one of his adages is, I've kind of lost that just a minute. What makes me think I'm smarter today than I will be tomorrow? So why do I make plans for tomorrow when I don't even, all I gotta do is get through the day? In the non-progressive great spirit means your point of power is always in the present moment. It's not in tomorrow or, so we tend to, the fear comes up when we're trying to change the things we can't change, which is people, places, and things, basically. I'm powerless over you. The only thing I have control over is my attitude. And I wake up and say, wow, I've got a house. I'm still working today, 5 doing what I love to do. I just like to spend more time out in the country, not so much in the city. But the city's where the people are. And so we provide a lot of medicine for the local people here. Sweetgrass, sage, palo santo, copal, all kinds of herbs, and smoke mixes to smoke in the pipe. And, we were advised by a medicine person to provide medicine for the people as long as you can. So I'm still doing it at 85 years old. Still taking a lot better care of my body than I used to. As a matter of fact, I can't fit in any of my clothes because I've lost so much weight. But I think the older you get, the less food you need. I'm sleeping good. My dear wife's coming on the 10th from London, where she's been spending time with her grandkids and her children. She's got 2 girls and a boy over there, 5 or 6 grandkids. I'm duck to them because I talk like a duck and make them laugh. So play is what I used to teach because I was so competitive. I didn't know how to play. I'd forgotten how to play. And I had a great teacher come along and tell me, say, how do you play with children? I don't play with children. They're not good enough. So they're the teachers to play. So you play with your offhand and don't tell them that you're playing with it. So that's how you develop a little humility. And humility is what they say you need to stay sober or long term. Say, I get by with a little help from my friends. I'm left to my own devices. I'd screw up anything. But I have angels that come along and good friends that help me out when I'm going through some tough times. Like my brother Glenn came. We were going to drive that Toyota truck. I hadn't driven it for months. And the alternator belt was so thin and it snapped, and he was driving the truck and I was driving my Subaru. We were going to unload it up at Bear Creek because it's full of medicine and it's been sitting in my driveway because I can't drive 2 vehicles. So anyway, it quit running on him, and he called me, and I'd gotten all the way to Cascade Locks, going across the Bridge of the Gods over into Washington. And he says, I'm stranded. Would you come back and pick me up? So I turned around, go back, and he had to go get his truck to see if he could get my truck started. So, anyway, he got there with his truck, and they'd already lashed it up to a tow truck and had the cops there. They charged him. They were going to haul it to the pound. That's $700 to get it out. $300 for towing charges. And so I thought, well, don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff, because I won't even remember that. I could laugh about it in a year. But if I'd been out there by myself, like Critter sent me an angel that helped me right through some maybe serious problems, because I have to learn to take better care of my equipment, starting with my body, and I'm doing a pretty good job of that, a lot better than I used to. And I want you to know that this orchid here is reblooming after my friend Christine Lightcap brought it for me. And you know, orchids kind of die off, and I don't know how to keep a plant alive. Mandy taught me that. Now I'm taking great delight in watering the plants, watering everybody but myself, but I'm doing a better job of that too. Water is the West. Some of the gifts of the West, you could ponder these, is silence. So how are you with yourself? How are you? Are you comfortable by yourself? There's 4 universal addictions. This is right out of Angela Sarian's work. She labels them the addiction to intensity, the addiction to perfectionism, the addiction to the need to know, and the addiction to focusing on what's not working rather than what is working. So those can be real downers for you. All addictions come from those 4 addictions. So if I play more, and if I learn, if I'm here making drums, I'll make enough drums to do fine for me. Like I made 7, 8 drums last week. I got one out there, and I'll make another 3 and 4, and I've got orders from tribes that I'm fulfilling. And I finally earned the trust of the Native community all over the country. And I'm grateful. I'm full of gratitude that I have enough. Lord help us. I used to be on the streets and hopeless, helpless. But I'm a Scorpio, and I'm also a year of the dragon. So I resurrected from the ashes and manifested something that I really love to do. And it's completion. It's just, I've always been the hare that runs here and runs there. Never been the turtle, the one that plods every day, chop wood, carry water, whatever you're doing. Have a little balance in your life. And the perfect balance is work, play, equally divided, good friends and good support, legs, that's your earth, and prayer and ceremony. There's no wrong way to pray. You can pray in a church, you can pray in a sweat lodge, you can pray anywhere you are. Prayer is blessings. Thank you. If I just say thank you for another day, I woke up. I've always been a curious kid. Curiosity is a gift of the East, which is becoming childlike rather than childish. And the West is more water which takes you down. So silence, the things that you ponder and you contemplate and you reflect, water teaches us much. The moving water, like the rivers and the creeks and the lakes, teaches reflection. You can look it down and see our own reflection. You can see the mountain in the lake. So water teaches us most of all elements. Water is trust. So in the 12 steps, it's first steps, admitted I'm powerless. My life's unmanageable. That means every day I have to hook up because I lose my connection so if I go to bed with no dirty dishes, and a lot of cultures will wail every night. They don't want to go to bed mad. So you gotta let go of all that negative stuff every night. So you don't wake up with yesterday's mess. You wake up with new eyes like children. Like little Frankie. Listen to Ashley and Casey. They have little Frankie right in between them, and they both love him and really take care of him. It's beautiful to see how we're taking care of the ones that are going to make a difference in this planet. Letting them feel love from both and from Mama and Papa. And, we're all in the tribal way. It's like nobody moves ahead until the least is sheltered. Back where I'm from, you lived in your mother's house, and then you moved in your wife's house. The men didn't own anything except their weapons and their clothes and their basic tools. And then they're living in their mother's house. Mama. Part of my journey is to make friends with my dad, but I had to move 2,000 miles away from him before I could find out who I was and find something that I love to do, not just make money, but make a difference in the world, in what I do. Put more drums on the earth. And let's see here. I guess I'm still the only one here. I don't know where everybody is. Well, I've been going 30 minutes, so we'll keep going here. When I say that no one's entitled to anything, I hear people saying, well, I'm entitled to minimum wage or whatever. No, you have to work. You have to work for these gifts of these directions. This is such a simple book, and I bought it before it, called The Sacred Tree. I guess you've seen it backwards. The Sacred Tree. And the sun dancers dance around that tree, and back east they had the tree of life, the family tree. That's who's your roots? What's your roots? How far do your roots go down into the earth? And when a native talks about a tree, they don't say that's an elm or that's a hemlock or that's a cedar. They describe it as, wow, Its roots go deep into the earth, into the unseen, to anchor itself to Mama. And its branches reach up into prayer to Father Sky. And it's a home to the birds, to the worms, to the sea creatures, to the squirrels, to the climbers. And the tree is a beautiful symbol. It's how we gather around the tree. If we don't part very far from the tree, we're going to be fine. He says there's 4 aspects of us: the mental, the physical, the spiritual, and the emotional. The soul. So if your soul's lost, back where I was from, and they had Southern Baptist, it was old Black Baptist church. On a hill far away stood an old rugged cross, the emblem of suffering and pain. The old rugged cross. Jesus got on the cross. The cross is the Catholic genuflex. It's also the 7 chakras. So the water is an element, just like the metal, the wood, the air, the fire, the earth. Body. How am I taking care of my body, my spirit, my mental, my prayer, and my compassion, my lending a hand to people, lending a hand to people that are ready, telling my story as an elder. And that's the Gospel of Thomas. It says Jesus was one of the lost Gospels, the Gospel of Thomas. Those gifts that I've given you, that you bring forth, is your freedom. And those gifts that I've given you that you do not bring forth will destroy you. And you will have a do-over. So hopefully we can leave the world a little bit better today than we found it this morning. I had a good day. I did. My sweet wife has taught me I don't have to keep the store open all the day. So we're only open by appointment. But I don't feel so chained to my business. I got one vehicle that runs like a charm, but my truck, that's where I carry my hides and my hoops from my place out in Carson back to Portland. But we're doing a ceremony there on the 21st of September, which is the closest Saturday to the autumn equinox. And that is if we have the people there to make it happen, and that's why I'm teaching these classes. Because when you're making prayer ties, like when I went on my vision quest, which is 4 days and 4 nights on a hill in prayer with no food or water, praying for a vision, I made 660 tobacco ties, one for the gifts of each of these directions: the winter, summer, spring, fall. We're in the fall now. That's a yin energy. It's Mama. It's how do you feel about it, Patrick? I'm sad. I'm excited. I'm angry. I'm scared. The core feelings is more of a yin. It's also the magician in the male model. The magician that is one that knows both black and white magic. So they can make the wind blow. They can, a lot of People have different gifts. Everyone has a genius. Everyone is born with the beast and the beauty. So it's learning how to dance with the two. And if my friend Ashley was here, she could show me. Like last week, I was trying to get on my Red Road illustrations so I could bring up some pictures. I don't know how to do that, so I'll just keep waking it. Just staying with this one book here. Volition. Just when we can use our volition, it's our will to help develop the four aspects of our nature. Volition is the force that helps us make decisions, then act to carry out those decisions. We can learn to exercise our volition by carrying out each one of these 5 steps. First step is attention, paying attention, giving attention. What are you tending to? Like if I'm making a drum, can I stay focused in the present from the start to the finish? And second step is goal setting. Well, the first step also has concentration. So what is concentration? Well, I was reading one of Michael Murphy's books called The Psychic Side of Sports. And we were talking about the zone, that some players get in the zone and just all trying disappears. So concentration is the ability to stay focused in the present moment for 12 seconds, uninterrupted by, like if you're watching the ball go back and forth, it's always your ball. And like Mandy and I play ping pong with both hands, so I hit with my left hand probably better now than I do my right hand. But this, so I'm more balanced with both hands. You know, that prayer, but the hands, like lending the hand, putting the handprint, like up there on the wall. I've got my little Blue Jasmine's drum up there. I've got Mandy's, the 2 ravens, the black raven and the white raven, right above my desk, where I spend less and less time. But I have a website, and I know just enough to make it work. Latest thing I've been learning is how to sharpen my tools. Like I've got these great scissors. They're German scissors. Cuts through rawhide. Cuts out our beater heads. A man needs some good tools and keep them sharp. So I've been taking the time to learn those things that I have a story that I don't know how to do it. Well, I'm not stupid, but I'm taking the time to learn how to sharpen my tools, and it's just, wow, I'm amazing how sharp they get in just a little effort. But I didn't know how to do it. So keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. It's being a victim. But I'm learning. I'm learning a little bit about mechanics. My brother was always the one that was working on the cars. And he could take apart an engine and put it back together. I didn't have a clue about how to be a mechanic. But I'm learning. I was looking at some videos on how to change that belt that broke on my truck. My buddy Glenn called me today and says, yeah, I'm gonna get one of my mechanic buddies to come up there and show me how to do that. Change that belt to my alternator. That alternator belt on the Tacoma. I got a great little truck, but it's just, you can't let them sit. They just start to atrophy, just like my body. If I sit too long behind the screen. So I've got steps. I got steps down to my store and steps up to the third floor, and I've got steps up to the attic. Got a lot of things stored up there that are, I had a new roof put on and they didn't put any protection down. There's dust all over all my stuff up there, and it's really hard for me to go up there and get some of that out. So I got to do something about my upper room, because if your upper room's blocked, that's your crown chakra. That's your ancestors that talk to you every night when you fall asleep. And let's see, still only one participant. Let's see. Okay. Well, let's go back to, let's see. Let's get out of here, back here. Quick message, someone start group chats. Got it, okay. Okay, let me get out of that. All right. So, 7:15. Let me go over some more of these gifts of the West direction. It's a beautiful direction. It's one of my favorites. It is my favorite, the West. It's the East. Go back here. Gets to the South. Next one's the West. Gifts of the West. Here we go. I'll just read a little bit about this. It says the greatest lesson to be learned from the symbolic teachers of the West is to accept ourselves as we really are, both spiritually and physical beings, and to never again cut ourselves off from the spiritual part of our nature. The West is the place of sacrifice. When we stand in the West, we learn that nothing may be taken from the universe unless something is given. It's called the giveaway. Like in nature, if you pick up a rock, you never displace something without asking permission. It's what the nays are. Leave a piece of your hair as an offering and state your intention. Like out at my place in Carson, we gather beater sticks. All trees don't want to give me their beater sticks. Well, I trim them, but I ask permission. Leave a little tobacco. Take the time, because if you're good to nature, you treat nature. Their wisdom is much greater than my wisdom. They've been around a lot longer than me, those trees. And they're our life. Keep our air fresh. And all that clear cutting up there where my place is broke my heart. So we made a commitment to keep that place pure, to work together to create a community, maybe with some ceremonies, drum making ceremonies, rattle making ceremonies, talking circles, sweat lodges, that's our church, schools, teach the children how to build a garden, how to plant a garden. That's what the indigenous people did. They taught them how to work in the earth. You don't need a lot of money if you grow your own food. We got good soil out there. Got a lot of buried cables and loggers and logged that place and then buried all their cables. But that's just what they do up there. It's like West Virginia. They'd go in and take the top off of mountains, get the coal, and disturbing old family cemeteries. So when you rape the mother gets angry, and that's what's happening now. You got oil, and everything's oil. All my trash is plastic and paper and plastic. The hemp is a renewable resource, as is bamboo. There's a lot of renewable resources you can take from nature with respect, and nature will take loving care of us. There's those stones, those rocks, those trees out there. We make our lodge out of hazelnut. We put 4 doors in it, one for the autumn ceremony is coming up. The west direction, that's the water. Humility, reflection, contemplation, respect for the spiritual struggle of other people. Life sometimes is hard. And to have compassion, I know how that feels. Compassion is, I care. Those 12 steps come in many forms. There's the 12, the Inca wheel, the South American wheel, the Quechua wheel. There's upper world and lower world, middle world, and the descent, and then the resurrection. So love, trust, connection, love God. I'm a spiritual being in human form. Clean house, trust God. Trust is the second step, trust. It's like we used to have this trust fall where some guy stands behind you and you fall backwards and he catches you, but you gotta trust he's going to catch you. That takes a childlikeness. If you're holding on to something, it's a lot harder. So holding our breath and not singing. So I love to sing, like the birds. I'm singing all the time, and I'm listening to songs that touch me. I've been listening to John Lennon's Watching the Wheels. It reminded me of Casey and Ashley and little Frankie. You sleep with that little boy right in between them. How beautiful that is for a child to feel loved by mother and dad, both hands, rather than, I don't know about my dad, but I love my mother. The little boy was raised by mama. Someplace there has to be initiation by the male, by a male. And the same as with a woman by a woman, not with another man. So when I got sober, my sponsor was a very wise man. He saved my life. And I was able, when I moved out here, to write a letter telling him how much I appreciated him. loved him. And then he died right after that, and I said, wow, I'm so happy that I expressed my appreciation, because if he'd died and I hadn't, I wouldn't have felt the right. So I think that's important, to tell people you love them, that you love, and have that discussion about how you feel supported. Sometimes we try to support other people the way we feel supported, but in the West, we reflect silence. So sometimes if you just let people talk, that's all they need is a good listening to. You don't try to fix them. You just hear them. You say, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. You feel with them compassion. People want advice. That has a very negative effect on communication. People usually don't take advice. But if you share your experience, that's going to help somebody. If you've had an experience, so you share it, you never know who that's going to touch. I've assisted in shock treatments out at the state hospital, and I was wheeling people up to the shock therapy room, and met all kinds of crazy people that had gone over to the other side with drugs. And they couldn't get back on this side. So they put them into shock, thinking that's going to get them better. So I think in a sense, we all have to go crazy, which means lose your mind and come to your senses, because the senses is where we live. I see you, I touch you, I smell you, I taste you. I know you, I love you. And I listen. I not only speak, but I listen. That's the yin part. It's I take in, I accept. So yin is, the teacher would be in the West, the healer in the South. In the masculine, the South is the lover, and the West is the magician, the magi, the magic. That old black magic has me in its spell. That's black magic is a spell. So sometimes my friends get in relationships and I don't see them for a long time until they come limping home and say, oh my God, my heart's broken. I say, well, don't leave your buddies and go. But we all learn from that. We've all been hurt. That's why my sponsor says stay out of relationships for the first year and work on your inventory. You get in relationships, you're going to be working on their inventory. I was ready to go to any length. So it says how it works, it doesn't say why it works. And the people that hang around for long term, like me, I think, have some sense of serenity, that they're peaceful. But then, I ain't the man I want to be, but thank God I ain't the man I used to be, so I'm doing the best I can. And change your language from you have to do this and you have to do that, and you don't have to do anything. My dad used to say, all you got to do is die and pay taxes. That's the only two sure things. So, it's taken me a long time to take that space to learn how to love myself. Self-love. It's not narcissistic, it's just learn how to reflect, how to take care of plants, I'm so happy that I can, Mandy, I owe her for that. Teaches me how to keep a flower alive. I thought it was gone forever and it came resurrected. So sometimes bloom where we are planted. Well, I'm planted here in my room where my big TV is, and I got all these drums on the wall. And these walls, I had a woman, a Leo woman, come in my life. I met at the Lynn Andrews gatherings. She walked into this house and she said, "This isn't your house, this is your mother's house." Well, actually, my mother had come out and decorated this house for me. And she and my Aunt Jenny came together. There were two sisters, two younger sisters, Thelma and Ruby, Jenny, Bee, Herb, Bill. Those were the Pratts. That's my mother's side of the family. So I was with my mother when she crossed over, and I didn't want to go. I didn't want to face my mother dying. But I had a Cheyenne buddy that said, "Get your butt back there, she's waiting for you." So I went back there, and I'm so grateful because I've done some counseling with death and dying people and hospice work. One of the things we had to do in graduate school was to write our own eulogy, write our own what we wanted on our tombstone, assuming that we're going to be buried in the earth. Your last Patrick, he cared. That's what I had on my tombstone. So if you care, you help people out, but you don't. You lend a hand when they're ripe, when they're ready. So you never know who's going to be ready. All I'm responsible for is telling my story and reflecting on my experience of how this personal house cleaning and going into the sweat lodge to burn away all that stuff, let go of maybe some survival skills that help me survive, but they're not really helping me thrive. You know, to leave the world, not get caught up in fear for tomorrow. Just saying, wow, I got plenty of food today, and I got a store I can walk to, 2 coffee shops in this block, and the restaurant, 2 restaurants in this shop, in this block. And I've got an old 1894 house that I live in. And after she told me this wasn't my house, this is my mother's house, I said, "Well, what the heck's my house look like?" So I painted these walls with these gold and green, which is the chakra. And I said, that feels like me at the time. So I painted all my walls. I painted all my ones, color washed them. And I love art, so I have beautiful art hanging in my house. And I have all these drums hanging on the wall that I've had for years and years. Some of my favorites, I like to have them live with me before I put them down in the store, so I can admire them. It's just like there's only one goddess with many faces. Loving the drum is a feminine energy. It's the earth, mama. The flute is more of a male instrument. So I bought a flute company back in my early days. I'm a fellow down in Ashland, Oregon, called Turtle Island Ceremonials. I learned how to make a flute, at least to learn the concept of how a flute's made. And and how they're played, and some of the legends about the flute. It's a very male instrument. It's a courting flute, they call it. Playing from your heart, not from your head. But playing with the drum and the flute and the rattle, they all go together beautifully. So in our store we have drum, flutes, and rattles. And then art. Time is art. We have medicine. But it's like a beautiful place for me. It's a continuous use. Let's see, Bob Hall. I'll let him in now. There's my buddy. Hey, Bob. You on? I see you, but I don't see you. There he is. Howdy. You're muted. Turn your voice on.
There. Can you hear?
There you go.
Anyhow, I was just saying, my machine said that when I was getting ready to get on to download an update, I did that, and then I just had some computer problems with it and had to reload stuff. So I'm here.
Sacred space is hard to get to.
It is hard to get to, especially for me.
Well, I'm glad to see you, brother.
Yeah.
Because I was just going on about winging it, because I taped this last one and I didn't know how to put it on. But it was more improv than thinking I needed to do this and that and the other. And just to talk about how important it is to have good friends. But you got to take care of yourself first of all, and live and let live, and don't take yourself too damn seriously.
And kick the computer once in a while.
Yeah, I haven't been on that computer much today at all. I've been focusing on getting this big order out, like it's for 40 drum kits and 40 rattle kits.
And that's a lot.
It is.
Is that one for Maine or?
Yeah, that's at Tribeca in Maine.
Yeah.
So, I'm one of those guys that if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. But, I got to thinking I have everything except I wanted 40 elk rattles. And I had 34, but I needed 6 more. So I picked up the phone and called this woman and said, would it be okay if I substituted buffalo, or because I don't have all the rattle kits in elk yet? And she called back and says, "Oh, sure, whatever you think, we'll take anything. We just." So she said, "No big deal. You can put anything in there you want because we trust you. You come with the good records."
Yeah, that's great. That's a gift just hearing that.
Yeah. Because I think sometimes one of the things I was going to cover is the idea of projection, introjection, and retroflexion. Remember what those 3 terms are?
Could you refreshen my memory on retroflex?
That's cancer.
Oh,
It's what's eating you.
what's eating you? Okay.
what are you eating and what's eating you? So, projection is, I love in you, Bob, the qualities I love in myself.
Right.
And I hate in you the damn qualities I hate in myself. But I don't see it in myself, I see it in you.
I, I've tasted that one before.
So,
Ha- have to thank my brother for giving me all those lessons.
yeah. And introjection is, your parents say, here, believe this, Bob. Here, believe this, Bob. Here, believe this, Bob. And Mama says, here, believe this, Bob.
Yep.
So you get a lot of stuff telling you what to believe since you was raised Catholic.
I was raised Catholic.
So, well, I have a pretty good history of Texas. I spent a year down there in Dallas, Fort Worth, Brownwood, and helping my brother. And I talked to him this week. He's kind of going out of he's getting ready to, I think, go to the other side because he was the warrior and I was the lover.
Mm-hmm.
But when a projection is see the world as it is, not how I want it to be. See through the surface. A lot of young men, they see a pretty girl and they go crazy. And pretty girl is the most dangerous thing in the world. So when I did my men's work, healing my father's stuff, I realized I was just like him. And I was projecting all this stuff on him, and it was actually me. So Robert Bly and James Hillman and Michael Mead, the three of them together. James Hillman says they got special castration tools in PhD school, graduate school. They'll castrate you really good. Cut off your balls. The intellect is the whore of intelligence. That was one of Fritz Perls' great quotes. The world's full of educated fools, but the wise men rarely go where the fool goes. But the fool is the West, so I was talking about the attributes of the West. Is you have to take a leap. That's the fool who takes a leap. The mind will never take a leap. The mind will say, why should I do that? And there'll be 50 people telling you why. Then you'll get into a debate. In recovery, it says it's not why it works, it's how it works. So, how do we stay sober? Well, I don't take the first drink. Because it ain't the third one that gets me in trouble, it's the first one. So I had to be ripe enough to listen and stay out of relationships for a year, work on my own inventory. So when I did that, I said, golly, I was teaching everything I needed to know. So if I look at the mirror, that's the West. And how you like that one in the mirror? If you're looking at everybody else, you're seeing their defects, but you're not seeing your own reflection. Say, I hated you, the qualities I hate in me.
Exactly.
But your good friends will stick with you through thick and thin. And I know Bob Bob and Martha took my little girl, taught her how to play strip poker, or not strip poker,
It's not strip poker.
five stud
We should little
Texas
Texas Hold'em.
That was a Freudian slip. Sorry about that. That's what my cousin and I wanted to play.
Uh,
So no, they were really good friends, and I had Bob on the pedestal. We had the most beautiful house I ever saw up in the West Hills, right in Forest Park, a creek down by his place.
I was fortunate to live there. Loved that place.
Yeah, and then as luck would have it, it didn't work out.
It didn't work out. But at least I got to enjoy it for
Yeah,
16 years. It was just a,
love the one you're with, starting with
yeah,
yourself. Because if you love yourself, you can love somebody else. But to the extent that I uh, can show my vulnerability, say, my God, I just learned how to sharpen my damn tools.
yeah,
I watched this video about 50 times. I say, why am I not seeing it?
yeah,
And finally I said, oh, that's what they mean. So now I'm just like a kid I'm
yeah.
taking all my tools out there and sharpening them. I say, wow, that was easy. Well, anything's easy if you know how to do it.
That's true.
So I was down there reading some of your what is it,
Try,
tricycle,
tricycle or tricycle. They pronounce it either way.
the Buddhist. It's more studying Buddhism, and I love it. It's
Yeah,
it's like I hate to throw away my parabola, so I've got all those and Mother Earth News and all those how to live off the grid. 'Cause I've been down Lake Titicaca in Peru where they live. Their average annual income's $500. And they're the happiest people in the world, and they live past 100 years. And they all out working in the garden. And they have a generator that comes on about 3 hours every night. So if they want to do washing or anything that needs electricity, they just do it in that window. I say, wow, we got these little guinea pigs running around the kitchen. They have these fiestas. They'll have dances. I said, I had a blast out there,
yeah,
even though I couldn't speak any English or Spanish. I had a gal that lived a block from me here in Portland. I said, you want a free trip home? Yeah, I sure do. Will you be our guide? Yep. Will you be our interpreter? Yep. So she helped us a great deal, and we got to meet her parents. And I had 6 meetings. How do you want to see Peru? Well, we don't want to do the tourist thing. We want to live with the people and see how they live.
yeah.
So we had a great trip down there. Got to play my flute, Machu Picchu.
Good venue.
And didn't cost me anything. I bought a lot of product for the store. I had to babysit 15 people, and they were all altitude sickness. It wasn't all the bed of roses, but it was not bad for a first time. All my friends were doing their bucket lists, going here, going there, going here, going there. And somehow we have to spend all our money. We don't want to leave anything.
Yeah,
But I'm grateful. I'm gratitude. You wake up every day My coffee pot broke yesterday. My truck broke. So there ain't no big deals and there ain't no big wheels. So it can be fixed. So now I'm looking at videos on mechanics. Because I never knew anything about mechanics. Oh yeah, that's what do they call that? I had it right there on my, how to take the different parts of an engine, a combustion engine.
The block?
No, it's the belt.
Oh, the belts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the thing that makes the battery charge. Alternator,
Alternator.
alternator belt. So my buddy Glenn knew a lot about mechanics, but he's got some friends who know a lot more, so he's going to come up and put that belt on there. But it cost me like, it could have been a lot worse because it could have been over $1,000 to get my damn truck out of the hock because they put them in a pound. Got to go in there and pay to get them out. But he talked them into just taking them to the little truck stop down 2 miles and they charged him $375. So we got her fixed, got her home. I say, well, there's always something to be grateful for.
Yep.
I could, and I was telling Glenn, he's called me every day because he wants to make sure I'm okay. So, I'm old, but I'm taking good care of myself. And I love teaching these classes. And I love it when I have some help. But if I don't, I can do it by myself. That's sharing our stories. That's in recovery. We share our experience, strength, and hope with each other. Say, I ain't the man I want to be, but my God, I'm glad I'm not the one I used to be. So, and I know a little bit about a lot of things, but I've been reading more and more. My latest venture was that book that you recommended.
Radical acceptance.
No, the one after that. You mentioned it, and then I ordered a copy, and I was reading it. What is this? Well, I can see it over there, but I don't have my glasses on.
Is that one about the woman recovering?
Let me go here and get it just a minute. This, the
Oh
message.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
He's a great writer.
yeah. It's, uh, I've had a lot of experience in writing and lefting.
Yeah.
I write blogs. I've written a lot of blogs for my website, and I've written a book, probably more than one. I think some of the greatest stories are not what you see on Netflix. And there's very few original things to look at. I mean, it's all rehashing Superman. But I've been staying less and less off the computer and realizing how much waste I create by not using the whole hide. And then I've got scraps and scraps and scraps, and I say, I want to give these away because people could use these. So I'm saying, well, just slow down. You don't need a lot of money to get by, you have enough. Lord, I'd be grateful if I had enough that wouldn't bounce a check. I'd write a check and then pray it wouldn't bounce until I could get some money to cover it. Now I don't have those problems anymore.
Yeah.
Just, so happiness isn't having what you want, it's wanting what you have. But, so Ashley said she was going to get on here, but I never saw her. So she's my coach on how to get all these red road classes up. But if I don't have those, then I'll just do it the other way. The greatest lesson of the West. That's what I was reading before you came on. It's about, I need some light here. Greatest lesson to be learned is to accept ourselves as we really are, both spiritual and physical beings, and never again cut ourselves off from the spiritual part of our nature. It is our nature. We're spiritual beings in a human experience. And to break the spell of we're born into sin, we have to repent. That's a tough spell to break. It's like, what was that song? I believe it was from Natural Born Killers. It says, when they say repent, I wonder what they meant. Repent, sinner. Glenn, his mechanic buddies are out bow hunting for deer and elk. And they love to bag an elk and skin that sucker out. They got enough meat for get him through the winter. And do it the old way, not with guns, but with bows. So it's a blessing to have him. I didn't realize he had carried stones in my lodge before, but he's taken pretty good care of me. Like a creator will send you an angel when you need him the most, especially if you're shining your light like you do. Like keep your walls. Mandy's walls are like yours. They don't have much on them. My walls, it's hard to get another thing on. My store, it's got a lot of stuff in it. And, I love it. And then people come in and say, have you got, ask me if I have something I don't have. So it's nice to have that, Mandy, it was her idea. They by appointment only. So I could say, what are you looking for? He said, I just want to look around. I don't allow browsers, sorry. So I'm going to do a video, take them through there and say, these are treasures. You don't want to buy cheap stuff from China. My God. I had a coffee pot. I love that little thing, and it broke yesterday. So I said, well, what I do before there was coffee pots? And I bought some coffee filters and just heated up some water. If that thing doesn't break, I have one kettle that broke from China. When I moved to Portland here, we had a little repair shop right down on the street corner. You could appliance repair, sunbeam, everything was made over here. And Now we've got these things that you can't fix. So it just breaks my heart to just throw them away.
Yeah.
Somebody's, it's just pollution. And I wouldn't have much garbage if it wasn't for all the plastic, all the stuff comes in. And it's just amazing how little garbage I have, because I throw it out for the squirrels, and crows. And I figure there's enough for everybody. Uh, so I'm, Glenn said he had 3 guys that want to come up and sweat. And I said, well, I don't want people coming up there without doing a little preparation for a ceremony.
Yeah.
They want to come up and then run back home. I don't have time to help clean up or set up or anything else. So I'm getting smarter in my old age. So if we're supposed to have a ceremony, it's going to be the people that make it happen, not me, because I've been there and done that.
Yeah.
And then I got somebody else that's doing everything. And so what really includes people, and you include them, and they get a lot more committed than if you're doing everything for them. So that's why I do these classes. But I can't figure out how to get them on the website. But it's good just to relax and deal with the cards that I've dealt with. If I can't get to my materials, I can wing it, because it's basically like making a drum. It's like it has a beginning. You got to walk all the way around that wheel, and then it has a completion. That's the 5 steps of volition: attention, goal setting, initiating action, perseverance, and completion. It's like I don't start and then start something else and then start something else. You got to dance with the lady that she brung you. So, I learned a real important lesson when I moved to a bigger place, thinking I could make more money, get a couple of investors. Lord help us. My overhead was 5 times what it was here. And I was the only one making drums. Everybody else was having meetings. So that wasn't the right place. So I went to the landlord. I had a 5-year lease with him. I said, John, I got to tell you, I can't make the lease. I'm sorry. Could you let me out of it? Because I've got to go back home where I can make it work. He says, I'll let you out. So had I avoided him, it would have been a whole different thing. And I say, fear is your compass. If you do what you're most afraid of, then what you're second most afraid of is a piece of cake. So, I learned in dealing with wealthy people that some of them are actually philanthropists. They say the only reason for having money is to help the community, not to help themselves, because I have enough. That's recovery. That's 12-step recovery. If you're feeling sorry for yourself, go find somebody else less fortunate than you are, because you've lost touch with what you do have. So it's 8 o'clock. must be time to wind her up. I'm sorry you caught in on the tail, but we have 2 more meetings preparing for the ceremony, and I'm sure I can get some help because I've had some people say they want to volunteer. It's just getting a volunteer coordinator to find out what skills they have.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm being pulled 50 ways, but I'm learning. Just relax. I'm not locking my door like I used to. And, I'm feeling pretty good about taking care of myself and getting over that break-in that we had here.
Yeah.
And saying wherever you pray, if it's in a church, on the autumn equinox, that's we're in the ripening time. Whatever you planted in the spring this is harvest, coming into harvest time. Thanksgiving, Halloween, Sondheim, some of the Celtic medicine wheel, the Celtic, we're sweating the west door, which is the water. So this is trust. This is trust God, clean house, and do what you love. Trust God, clean house, and do what you love. So I'm going to get off so this doesn't run too much over.
Okay.
And glad that I got to see somebody here and that somebody could actually get on this thing. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful for you, my brother, and would ask that you watch over everybody that might see this and get something out of it. And
Yeah.
we hope to see you next week.
Okay.
All right. Aho, aho.
I hope.
Let me stop this thing.
Sleep well.
In meeting for